Welcome to the Advanced Freelancing Podcast. Every week, you'll hear strategies for building your online service-based business your way. And now, here's your host, veteran freelancer, author, and TEDx speaker, Laura Briggs.
Welcome back to another episode of the Advanced Freelancing Podcast. Today, we are talking about a skill that every freelancer needs to have, and that is project management. While there are separate people who focus entirely on project management as their primary deliverable and service that they provide to clients, project management is a must for every freelancer because your clients will have varying levels of organization. And that's really a challenge for a freelancer to step into if they don't at least have the awareness and ability to pivot in that circumstance to help their freelance clients adapt and get more effective at what they do. So in today's episodes, we are going to talk about project management basics, as well as some of the common pitfalls that can derail you or your clients. So there are two ways you need project management as a freelancer. First of all, you have to self-manage your own deadlines and projects. I often joke that as a freelancer, you are the VP of marketing, finance, sales, operations, everything, right? You are the one person who wears all the hats in your business and has to do all of the deadlines for your clients. So you have to have a finger on the pulse of each one of your clients' businesses and what you have due for them. But you also need project management to manage your own clients, because what you don't want are all of your clients to run the day, to kind of overtake your schedule, and to make it hard for you to meet the deadlines you otherwise have. So there are 4 things on your end that must be organized for you to be effective with project management. This will allow you to save time and take on as many clients as you want, or as many clients as you see fit, right? Within your time allotment. The first is your bandwidth. You need to know about how long it takes you to do a project. You need to know what fully booked looks like for you. And that can vary from one freelancer to another. So one person might feel like working with 3 clients is the absolute maximum they can handle, or working 20 hours a week is the max that they can handle. Right now, since I run my company as a split business, I really do treat it as 20 to 25 hours a week of client work. And then outside of that, I have other things I'm working on. So I have to know at any given time within that 20 to 25 hours, can I take on new projects, or how far out do I need to tell a client they'll have to wait? You also need to have an organized pipeline. This is how often you are pitching or marketing, and it is the biggest reason why freelancers do not have business. They get so busy working on client projects that they forget to keep marketing themselves. And then when all the client projects wrap up or come to their inevitable end, or a client cancels, the freelancer is left without any work because there's no one in their pipeline. So you have to project manage that as its own thing too, right? Like I treat marketing for all of my businesses as its own project that's an ongoing thing with different responsibilities. All projects and open tasks for your clients do need to be organized. You need to make sure that you're not telling 3 clients that you can deliver on Friday morning when you can't really fit that into your schedule. And you want to make sure you're not telling multiple clients that, you're available basically full time for them, because then you end up spreading yourself so thin. You also need to organize the administrative tasks to run your own business. So your finance, your bookkeeping, your sending invoices, all of those little back end things that sort of happen as a freelancer, updating your website, doing things like that. My favorite tip for project management for freelancers when you're just getting started is to keep it simple. Every single thing that you are working on for your business or for a client, write it down somewhere and keep it in one place. And I strongly recommend that this be outside of your email inbox. So you might have this on old-fashioned pen and paper. You may use project management software like Asana, Teamwork, or Trello, or you may just use a really simple to-do list app. I've done a previous video training on some of my favorite to-do list apps for freelancers. There's Todoist, there's To-Do, but spelled the French way. And those are great tools to use to just really simple, right? Like, let me see what my week ahead looks like. But don't do it inside your email inbox, because that just gets cluttered. Every time you get down a bigger project, break it into smaller tasks. Ghostwrite someone's book is a terrible task item to put on your to-do list, right? Or create 3,000 word blog, or launch so-and-so's website. Every project should be broken down into smaller tasks, and then you can reverse engineer it from when the project or the draft is due to the client, and then put those little milestones and those smaller goals on your to-do list at that time. Big projects on your to-do list do not work well. In fact, they just overwhelm you because how do you even get started with that, right? If you don't have a system for launching someone's website or creating their 5,000 word piece or whatever, then you feel a lot of resistance when it's time to sit down and do their work because it feels like, well, this isn't going to be a quick task. This is going to be a 5, 6, 10-hour task. And that just feels really overwhelming. So it's much easier to procrastinate and not do any of it. So always break things down from the bigger projects that you have if you want to be successful. Now, you cannot count on your clients to be organized. Unfortunately, this is just the way it is. It would be awesome if we could count on our clients to be organized, but that's not always the case, right? So if they are organized, you only need to worry about project managing yourself, your deadlines, your tasks, your system. But so many of your clients will not have a system in place at all. And so you need to be prepared to, at a minimum, possibly make recommendations for them. So sometimes you may actually step into the role for your clients as a strategist, right? This is where we go from doing deliverables to providing strategy. You want to make sure that you're paid for this too, right? Either paid hourly, or if you're doing additional consulting beyond the scope of your contract, you want to make sure that you're being appropriately compensated for all of that time that you put in. So you need to tell those clients how to most effectively work for you. It's really usually not the case that the client will bring you in and say, hey, set up our whole project management system. But they might say, we want you to create an editorial calendar, a book launch plan, a marketing strategy, big picture things like that, and help us figure out the best way to manage it. So this comes up a lot when I do content management projects, which is where I step in and help the client figure out how to hire and maintain an active list of freelancers submitting work to them. And this can be really overwhelming for clients, but it's also well worth it because if you know what you're doing, you can set it up the way that works most effectively for you. So you may need to tell your clients, hey, I really need to build a system here that's going to work for both of us. So I want the process to work for the client, but I also want it to work for me. And I strongly recommend a project management tool to do this, as well as setting expectations about communication and workflow. So you might say to the client, if you use an existing project management tool, we can 100% port this project over into that. Or if you don't, here are some recommendations that I can make. So whenever I see something that's going to be a finished product, I like to move it through sort of the left to right version of a project management tool visually. It helps the client tell what stage of the process we're at and where things are potentially stuck. So this is a great chance to train your clients too on how long they can expect to wait to hear back from you. So maybe you only work for them on Mondays and Wednesdays. So they need to check the project management board on those other days to see where the projects are at. Now, if a client breaks the rules that you have set for them and ultimately gets disorganized, I would first try to bring them back under the umbrella of, okay, this is how things are going to work. And you don't really want to call them out by saying that, oh, you're really disorganized. This project is really hard for me to work on because you have become so difficult to work with. You want to say, this is what I have seen work best with my other freelance clients. And so that's why I'm recommending it to you, because I think it could be really effective and powerful here for all of us to be on the same page. So rather than sending me emails, I'd like for you to send me updates in our chosen project management tool. You can tag me there. You can share documents. If we're using Google Docs, you can leave comments in the Google Doc. All of these are basically different ways for you to keep things super organized, right? So never assume that a client has gone off the rails and is disorganized on purpose because they're trying to make you frustrated or trying to make the project more difficult than it is. Most of them just really struggle with organization. And I will say too, I've done a lot of content management and project management for my own clients, but I'm really bad at doing this when it comes to my own business. So the business where I work with other freelance team members, I have to remind myself to build in that project management time because I have created such a resistance to doing it since I already do it for my clients. So I always have a little bit of that empathy with my freelance clients that maybe they just don't realize how hard this is for me. So I'll give you a great example from a past coaching client with project management. She was super organized. She had a system. They had a Trello board. but her clients took forever to review the work that was on the Trello board. It was very hard for them to, for her to tell, has my work been published? Is this still in edits? How many people are even editing it? Because now I see 7 people inside the Google Doc. And that ends up being really frustrating for freelancers, and especially for her being so organized. So for her, this was an opportunity to go back and say, how do we need to recalibrate this project differently so that anyone who signs into the Trello board can see what is going on with that project at that point in time? No additional context should be needed. No one should have to sort through their email inbox and try to find these details. Can we create a label that indicates that something is stuck? Can we always write published in the tag of the card on Trello? These are sort of great tips to make suggestions to your client without being so firm that you're saying, this is the way we have to do it. Because this is a little bit of a compromise with working with your clients, because you need to come up with a system that's going to work for them as well. So if a client kind of breaks the rules and gets disorganized, the first time, gently try to bring them back to the system, right? Assume that this is just old bad habits and you're helping them rewire for greater success in the future. We never want to assume that our clients are trying to make things difficult for us. But when it continues to happen, this may just be a sign that you need to think about, do I want to continue working with this client? Are they so disorganized that it's hard for me to keep track of everything, and I'm not really going to be successful here organizing everything because we're going to continuously come back to these same challenges? I'm going to have to redirect them all the time. I'm spending too much of my time and energy doing things, trying to keep this client on the right track, and it's just not working out. These are all things that you can think about in the back of your mind when you have made a couple of different attempts to try to make things work and it has not been successful with the clients. So being a project manager is not something that every freelancer necessarily needs to bring to the table. It could be something that you sort of offer rolled into your existing services. Maybe the client's needs are, relatively small and it's not that big of a deal for you to be able to handle it and manage it. And so you don't charge extra. But if they need a full system, right, they're going to be producing a podcast, a blog post, they're working on a complete website overhaul, this information should be organized in a way that makes sense for each one of you. So that's a really good strategy to make sure that you're staying on task and guiding your client towards best practices. Project management is all about making sure things get done in an organized and a timely fashion. And you cannot work in the world of disorganization if your clients are not sort of respecting that underlying goal for you. So as a project manager, or putting on that project management hat to do an individual job, you want to gently guide the client that you're recommending things that are only in their best interest. It's going to make it easier for these projects to get complete. It's going to be easier to produce or publish them with quality control. It's going to be easier for them to work with you. So every freelancer benefits from having these sort of basic project management skills in place to be able to guide clients away from things that are really distracting or time consuming. Maybe when you start working with your client, they're completely living out of their email inbox. And if you can retrain them and help them build systems, this can help you grow your business over the long haul.